Okay, in this video, if we ever get around to putting it together, we're going to try to address some of these rotten inner fenders. We got this whole deal here is gone. We got everything up here where the fender goes bolts on is gone. Everything back here in the back where the support for the fender is gone. So the correct way to fix this would be replace the whole inner fender. Good luck finding one that's in good shape. And to be rightly honest, I really don't want to spend more money on a truck that's not very nice anyway and is untested and unproven. So we're going to kind of cobble this together. Like about everything else we've been doing, but you got to remember, this truck should have been bound for the junkyard a long time ago. So, is there really a wrong way to fix it if we're fixing it? So, essentially, what I've done here is I have some diamond plate that I've bent up into some splash shields, and we're going to try to fix this here. I'm going to self-tapping screw it for today, just for proof of concept, and then tomorrow when the hardware store's open, I'm going to get some 1/4-inch bolts and put this together. And I know this is aluminum, and I know aluminum reacts to steel and corrodes, but we're going to put plenty of silicone around it when we do our final assembly. So basically what we're going to try to do is affix this here, then put another plate in where that giant rotten hole is around the headlight bucket, and that ought to do enough to keep water and mud and stuff, if we seal it all up with silicone, from continuing to rot out what little bit there is left. Then we have another piece of sheet aluminum we're going to use to try to fix this up here, and then we'll probably come up with something else there for the back. So I'm going to try to screw this together, and then I'll show you what it's going to look like before we do the final assembly. Okay, so I've been piddling with this for a couple evenings, just because I've decided it's not fun anymore, and just been working on it an hour or so here and there. So here's what we've got for a splash guard / repair / cobbling of the inner fender for the driver's side front. I got 2 pieces of aluminum diamond plate. Got some 1/4-20 bolts holding it to what was left of the inner fender, and the second plate, which is down here on the bottom, just goes across like so. Still have to fill these holes. I red oxide primered everything between the inner fender well and what is left of this core support, and boy, this whole thing's pretty chewy. It's not real good. Then up here where the fender bolts on, this was all basically Bluetooth, so we cut it out back to good metal with the grinder, sprayed it with a coat of primer, and then I've got this other piece of metal I had laying around, tucked it back up underneath the washer bottle there, siliconed it all the way around, stuck some 1/4-20 bolts in it, and it's a lot better than what was there before. As far as what we have left to do on this side, we have a hole here that we need to figure out a piece of diamond plate, and I'm probably just going to self-tap and screw it in, put some silicone around it to keep mud and stuff from coming through that hole. We really need to bend us a piece of that diamond plate at an angle and tie it in here, so we've got some more support here, because where this all bolts together, it is pretty well rotten. Then moving rearward, next couple of evenings, I've got to go out of town for work for a week. So this is my goal. But by Friday night, I would like to have this corner of the cab. Not really going to go for a cutout and repair on that. I'm going to paint it heavily with some of this equipment paint, and then I just want to plate around it and silicone it. If I can just keep from throwing more junk back in that pocket where the door mounts, that's all I care about at this point. I'll have that coated down with so much PV Blaster by the time I'm done adjusting those doors and everything in there and lubricating those hinges that I'm not too worried about the rest of that rotting. And then from here down to that corner, we're going to have to make something up to replace obviously what's rotten there, and then be able to mount the fender flare support bracket back in there, because where it was mounted to has, well, it's where that big rotten mess is. So, have to figure something out for that. So, this is where I've made it so far. Okay, so here's what we wound up on the driver's side. Piece of thin gauge aluminum I had laying around. Got the holes in there for the fender. It's contoured to the original body line, or the original line of the inner fender. Then down here we got a piece of diamond plate capping the cab, and then we've got another piece filling in here, cut off at an angle so it'll clear the fender when we put it over. So we repeated the process on the other side, but it's not as pretty, so I'll show you that real quick. How to keep the mud out of there. So here's how we wound up on this side. Ain't none of this perfect. Ain't perfect on the other side either. This side's a little rougher because I had to make a few pieces work together just to be able to make that out of the scrap. Nobody watches these videos. Very few people have interest in this kind of stuff and are willing to tolerate the crappy camera work I do. But if you do, and you pertain to want to make a comment about how shitty and backward and shade tree this work is, well, here's what I got to say about that. This truck should be in the damn junkyard. Should have been there for a while. So we're going for operable work truck here. I know I've said that multiple times. And these pieces of diamond plate, how I have this semi-repaired on this inner fender well, will keep the mud out of there that rotted out the other fenders that were on it from the factory. So, y'all have a good one. And keep enjoying your Jeeps and keep fighting for your freedom, because it seems to be getting less and less every day.